So let's very swiftly move on to our next topic, which is growing London's economy. And can I welcome for the first question Isabella D. Bies from SADC, who will ask a question. Can I ask Isabella to proceed with the question, please?
I'm a freelance lab sound engineer. I work in London venues. I'm also a co-chair of BECTU's London Union of Venue Technicians. London has always been considered the mecca of live events and culture, and thanks to the very skilled live events workers, this city and UK in general has benefited from an £84 million worth industry for years. But now 600,000 and counting jobs are at risk because of COVID. Since the first lockdown, live events workers have not been able to work because majority of London venues are closed. Some venues are shut for good, or social distancing doesn't allow venues to reopen at full capacity without major financial loss. Some of us managed to get some financial help. Some of us didn't get any help at all. And some of us, like me, retrained and started a temporary job in a supermarket, but there aren't enough jobs for everybody. The risk is that when and if live events come back, there won't be any or enough skilled live events workers left, because a lot of us are forced to leave the industry right now. Mayor, as a worker and as a representative of workers, but also as a culture music lover, I'm worried about the future, and I'm asking you to help us to come up with a plan to save the live events industry in London. Thank you.
Please, Mr. Mayor, your response.
Well, Isabella, firstly, thank you for the role you play in making London the greatest city in the world. One of the reasons why we are is because of our culture. As you said, you contribute billions of pounds towards our economy in good times, but also 1 out of 6 jobs in our city are in the cultural and creative sector. The Deputy Mayor for Culture, Justine Simons, but also the Night Czar, Amy LeMay, have been working incredibly hard before the pandemic and during the pandemic to help this area. I'll give you some examples of the work we've been doing. Because of our work, we've kept 500 live music venues and venues that do live entertainment open. We have a culture at risk office that's been doing that. We've been criticised, by the way, by some in this assembly for investing in culture, but you've articulated why it's so important for us to do so. We set aside £2.3 million to help at the culture at risk office in helping the industry that you're talking about. But also, Londoners have been so incredibly generous in relation to the Pay It Forward scheme, £1.5 million helping those get advanced cash flow that helps provide wages to people like you who are freelancers and have no other income stream. We're also lobbying, Isabella, the government, because there are 3 million people across the country, 3 million across the country, many of them freelancers, who've been excluded from any assistance from the government. Even the extension of the furlough scheme until March, which we were calling for, still means freelancers are not getting the help they deserve because they're either self-employed and partly working, because they've only recently become self-employed, or because they get paid through dividends in a company or earn about £50,000. And the risk is this, Isabella. When it comes to us coming out of the lockdown, you're absolutely right. Because you'll have had to get other jobs to make ends meet, to pay for your bills, you won't return to culture, the creative industries, hospitality, and our unique selling point, our USP as the greatest city in the world will be lost. And so future investors, rather than coming to London, will choose other cities around Europe and other cities around the world because we won't have the cultural offer. And so we're going to continue to lobby the government to do much more to help this area, to persuade the Treasury to do much more to help freelancers like you in this sector, but also to persuade the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sports to do much more to help those who have fallen through the cracks. I welcome the contribution to institutions on people, and that's why it's very important we continue to lobby them to help people.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your full response. And can I thank Isabella for raising the issue.